Every single year, more than 1 billion people around the world observe Ramadan. And for an entire month, their daily lives radically change. It's this massive global phenomenon that also happens to be a fascinating biological puzzle. So, what's really going on inside our bodies when we completely flip our eating, sleeping, and social schedules? It's kind of like a giant real-world experiment on our body's internal timing system. And the key to understanding it all? Well, it might surprise you. Because the key to unlocking this whole puzzle isn't just about food or sleep. It's about a single, powerful hormone that, honestly, most of us misunderstand. We're talking about cortisol. And trust me, it's so much more than just the stress hormone. All right, so to really get what happens during Ramadan, we've got to back up a little. First, we need to understand the system it's affecting. So let's do a quick dive into your body's amazing internal clock. Okay, so think of your circadian rhythm like your body's own personal 24-hour operating system. It's this master clock deep in your brain that tells you when to feel sleepy, when to feel alert, and when to release certain hormones. And it takes its cues from the world around you, things like sunlight, when you eat, and your sleep schedule. Now here's where cortisol comes in, and I want you to try and forget its reputation as just a stress hormone for a second. In a healthy, normal rhythm, cortisol is your get up and go signal. It naturally peaks in the morning, right around when you wake up, and it gives you that jolt of energy and alertness to start your day. So, if cortisol is this super precise, daily metronome, what on earth happens when you completely change the beat of your daily life? Well, this is where the research gets really fascinating. So here's the crucial point. The studies don't really show that cortisol levels just skyrocket or plummet during Ramadan. Nope. The most consistent finding, again and again, is that the entire pattern of its release gets thrown off. It's all about the rhythm, not just the level. And this slide just lays it out so clearly. On the left, you've got your typical day, right? A big, sharp cortisol spike in the morning that gets you going, and then it gradually fades. But look over at the right. What happens during Ramadan? Two huge things. First, the peak gets pushed later into the day. And second, the wave itself gets blunted. It becomes flatter, way less dynamic. That big morning surge is pretty much gone. And this quote from some foundational research back in 2004 just nails it. The researchers said the major changes are chronobiological and behavioral. In plain English, that means it's all about timing and behavior. It's a fundamental change in the body's entire schedule. Okay, so we know the rhythm changes, but why? What's actually causing it? Well, the answer might not be what you'd first guess. It's really easy to assume that just not eating during the day is what causes this cortisol shift. But the research suggests it's much bigger than that. The real drivers are the massive shifts in your entire daily routine. Your sleep times are altered, you're eating late at night, and you have totally different patterns of light exposure. This table really drives that point home. See, when scientists compare Ramadan to other popular forms of time-restricted eating, like intermittent fasting where you just skip breakfast, they see a huge difference. Other methods keep the eating window during the daytime. But Ramadan is unique. It combines fasting with night eating and altered sleep. And the result? The effect on your body's clock hormones, like cortisol and melatonin, is way more pronounced. We're talking about a rhythm that's often blunted or in some cases almost totally abolished. So, our internal clock gets shifted. Big deal, right? Well, what does that actually mean for our health and just how we feel day to day? Well, that blunted morning cortisol peak can have some real-world consequences you can actually feel. It's linked to that feeling of increased sleepiness during the day and just lower alertness. It can also create a kind of misalignment where you're eating at a time when your metabolism isn't really primed and ready for it. So, you see, this isn't just about one hormone changing. It's part of a much bigger reorganization of your body's daily schedule. Now, it is really important to be clear that science is still piecing all of this together. As researchers themselves are quick to point out, there's actually a scarcity of research in this area. Many studies don't properly control for sleep loss or light exposure, which are huge factors. So while the pattern is pretty clear, the exact mechanisms and the long-term effects, well, there are still a lot of question marks. So after looking at all of this, what's the one big idea we should really walk away with? The crucial point is this. Ramadan provides a powerful example of a universal truth. Your daily routines are the primary language your body understands. The timing of your meals, your sleep, and your light exposure. These are incredibly potent signals that set your internal master clock. Consistency really is key.
And that leaves us with a final thought. We've just seen how a month of an altered routine can shift our fundamental biology. So it has to make you wonder, doesn't it? With our late night screens, our scattered meal times, and our inconsistent sleep schedules, how is our own modern routine shaping our internal clock every single day?